Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hooga With It. Today we're going to chat about all of the authors I'm done with. Like, it's over. Our relationship has ended. I'm breaking up with these authors. Let's get into it. I have 6 authors that I want to talk to you about. I should start out by saying, if you love these authors, I'm so glad. There are definitely different readers for different authors, and that's what makes reading so wonderful. But for me, I am giving myself permission to walk away forever and not feel guilty about it. Just walk away, girl. Walk away. The first author I want to talk to you about is a loved author by many historical fiction fans, and that is Quinn. I read both of her books, her historical fiction books surrounding World War II, World War I. I read The Alice Network and I read The Huntress. And with The Alice Network, I was very annoyed. The main character is quite young. She gets pregnant. Everyone wants to get her to get an abortion or give the baby up for adoption. And she, doesn't do that immediately. She's thinking about it. And throughout the book, she refers to the baby as the little problem over and over and over and over and over again. And it was like so annoying. It was like nails on a chalkboard for me reading that repeatedly. In The Huntress, there were a few sayings that were said repeatedly as well. There was certain swear words that one of our main characters used just constantly. What I don't like about her books is all of the characters, to me, are incredibly flat. There's no depth to them. They are exactly how they seem to be on paper. They're straight up that, and there's nothing underneath. And I like a book with depth because I like my people with depth. And if there's nothing underneath, I don't want to hang out with you. Like, I genuinely cannot hang out with people who have no layers. I just can't. And so I was like hanging out with people like that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end because I was reading this book and I just couldn't. And so I am very, very, very happy to say that I'm done with Quinn. Oh man, this is ranty. Wow, I only started with author number 1 and I'm already like, eh. Okay, so the second one is another beloved author to many people, and it's Jodi Picoult. Now, I'm going to be super honest. I have not read a Jodi Picoult from cover to cover. I never will. Like, no one say anything in the comments saying like, just try it out. No, it's not happening. I tried to read The Storyteller, and that was about these two people who meet at a bereavement group. One of them is an older man, and one of them is this young woman. They become friends, and then she finds out that he was a Nazi officer, and she has Jewish heritage, and it's just a big awkward mess. The storyline itself doesn't bother me. I don't have a hard time with hard books. I read horror, for goodness sake. I'm okay with hard books. But I didn't like her writing style like whatsoever. I thought it was poorly written, and I was rolling my eyes as I was reading The Storyteller. It was very cliche. There were these cliche moments in there that if I'm rolling my eyes at a book, I think I'm done. So I'm just going to walk away from Jodi Picoult. I don't need to read more of her. I'm actually really glad that I'm doing this because there have been so many times where I've been at a used bookstore and it's always jam-packed with Jodi Picoult, and I had only luckily picked up The Storyteller. I was convinced that I was going to like her, but then I didn't. So I'm walking away. It's okay. No hard feelings. Next is Ernest Cline. I read Ready Player One last year, and it was like one of my most hated books of last year. And I know so many people love that book, and I do see why people like the book. I was just really frustrated. I didn't feel like it was a very feminist book. It was very male dominated, um, in a way that sat strangely with me. Like, it made me feel weird and a bit gross. So I don't think that an author who can make me feel weird and a bit gross, and not be doing that purposefully, should be an author that I read. I don't think I should continue on with Ernest Cline. And quite frankly, I haven't heard much buzz about any of his other stuff. So I think it's safe to say I can walk away from him and leave him behind. Like, I read Ready Player One because my husband and I were supposed to watch the movie together, and I was like, no, I have to read the book first. I read the book. Now I have no desire to watch the movie. Like, none. So I feel a bit bad. It backfired on Barry, but yeah, I don't want to read any more Ernest Cline. Another author that I don't want to read again is Ruedes Apennine. Now, she is a historical fiction writer, and she's specifically a YA historical fiction writer. I read Between Shades of Grey. I think that's what it's called. I found her writing too simplistic. There were characters that didn't have names, but they were titled things like The Man Who Winds His Watch, and it's supposed to be symbolic of like time running out, and I don't need that. I don't want to be force-fed symbolism. I want to see symbolism in my writing, but I don't want to be force-fed it. And I also think teens are smarter than that. I just think that they're smarter than that, or they should be encouraged to be smarter than that. And I didn't enjoy it. And so if that is what she does in her books, then I just don't want to read more of her. I have Salt to the Sea on my shelves, and I'll be getting rid of that. I thought I was going to like her, and I always have these high hopes for certain YA authors, and Ruedes Apennine was like way high on the list. I really wanted to enjoy her writing, but it just didn't work for me. So I'm saying goodbye to Ruta. I am also saying goodbye to Sarah Pinburrough. She wrote Behind Her Eyes, which was my least favorite book that I read last year. I felt really duped when I read that at the end. Everyone says, the ending, the ending. And when I got to the ending, I was angry, and I felt like she had betrayed the reader. And now a lot of people loved this book. It's a thriller about two women basically, but a woman who sleeps with some guy. The next day she goes into her new job, and she realizes that guy is her boss, and he's also married, and she befriends the wife. First of all, rule number one, don't do that. And it is about all of their relationships together. And the ending, yeah, is shocking, but it was never something you could guess. You had no chance in hell of guessing the ending. And the whole point of thrillers to me is that you do have a chance. You get to play detective. And maybe that's why I struggle with detective series, is because I'm jealous of those people. I'm like, I want to do that part. And there was no chance of guessing in this story. So I was also completely annoyed by all of the characters. I hated them all. And I just felt so betrayed as a reader reading this that I just think I need to walk away from her entirely. And so I shall. And last but not least, potentially, is Philippa Gregory, another beloved historical fiction writer. She kind of deep dives into mostly the Tudors. I read Three Sisters, Three Queens, and it was long and repetitive. And now I liked learning about history through reading novels and stuff, but it was so repetitive that I felt like it could have been cut in half and then it would have been fine. it was just too long, and like I felt like she was just inserting fluff and circumstance, and I didn't get to know the characters anymore with all of that. And so I just, yeah, I at the end of that book, I was like, I don't want to read all of this series. Like, I have no intention, and I had bought it all. Like, I had all of them on my shelves. But yeah, I don't think that she is for me. I won't be reading any more of her. Many of you have suggested that I try Alison Weir instead, and I might give one of her books a shot. I will only buy one this time, and then see what I think, and then like decide from there, because I like reading history through novels. You learn so much. Anyway, those are the 6 authors that I am done with. I am finished. Let me know in the comments below if you have an author or authors that you have walked away from, you have broken up with, and it was like the best decision of your life. Because sometimes it does feel that way. Sometimes the breakup feels absolutely amazing. I would love to know what yours is, and I will talk with you guys soon. Okay, bye!